Okay. Yesterday at the on the Alma listserv, I sent out a little question about Chat GPT because Library 2.0 is doing a boot camp for librarians over the next 3 Fridays. And since it costs money, I figured that people might be interested but didn't want to spend that kind of money just to investigate. But I am going to go ahead and attend on behalf of the consortia, and then I'll be able to share out what I learn. So that will be very interesting. Um, April 20th, please remember we have the sandboxes session, and anything that you can send me ahead of time to help Lindsay and I structure that session would be great. So questions you have, use cases that you don't like understand, anything. Um, so those are my announcements. Um, so without further ado, um, the full documentation for this setup process is it is in the developers network. However, uh, they fail to address things in quite the order that I think it makes sense. Um, so I'm hoping that today I can kind of walk you through it. Unfortunately, because I don't actually work in any of your buildings with your printers, I can't totally do it. Um, but the first step is to create a printer in your institution that is a printouts queue as opposed to one of the other ones. And you do that um, by going to configuration and then fulfillment. Fulfillment? Where is it? Guys, I apologize. I'm never like the most on top of it, but unfortunately my dog passed away on Friday and I'm just kind of like really okay, hold on. I Yes, okay, configuration fulfillment printers. Where'd it go? Configuration fulfillment. Did I just miss it? Oh, yep, it was hidden. Okay. Printers. Um, okay. So you choose your location. So whichever it is. Um, and you can see I've actually already done this here. Um, so to add a printer, I won't add it again. You do select printouts queue, and then you can give it a code and a name, just like, when you set up anything. You can see once it's set up, you can then go in and edit it. And I have added circulation desks that can access this printout queue and the service units that are at Bellingham. So it is ready to go. So it is there. And so that is the first step to have that printer added. It won't work unless you do the rest of these steps. So the next one is to go to your developers network. And if you don't have that login, I have all of them. So I'm wondering if maybe Wade kept that access to himself or if you guys have your own. But if you don't have access, let me know. I'm happy to get you the API. So anyway, so you go into the API section. When you log in, there'll be all this stuff. And you could go to build my APIs. And you should see these 3 boxes. You go to manage keys. And from what I saw in his documentation, I think he set up APIs for like shelfless scan and Spinomatic for everybody at some point. But I already created this one. So print daemon, you just go add API key, and name it, give it its description, and then you're going to add 2 permissions. And those 2 permissions are configuration for production, read only, and task list for production, read write. And then you hit save, and you can't copy when it's blurred out like this, but if you click the view, you can copy it, and then you've got it. So you get your API key. You then want to download the extension. And so the page for that is this developers print daemon page, and I'm putting it in chat. And the button at the bottom of that page says more info, and it basically just sends you to this GitHub page, and they're on 2.1, and there is a beta down below of like 2.2, I think it said. But you just go ahead and double click on this program, it'll download, and then you can open it up. It automatically put a shortcut on my desktop, and what opens is this window. And so this is where you paste the AP, well, just pasted it double. Boop, boop. What? Oh, because I copied a URL. Okay, let's do that again. Copy. Nope. Okay. Okay. So you paste your API. Make sure that region is set to North America. Test the API. If you have not hit that test API key yet, this add printer profile will not be enabled, that button. So test API, success, it is valid. Set it to automatic printing. You can do your interval at every minute, every 5 minutes. You can even do, every 15 seconds if you put in 0.25. And you can also select auto start so that it's automatically running on all that stuff. All right, so then you add, agenda doc, yeah, hold on. Whenever I share screen, the menu thing at the top gets in the way of, there you go. Okay, so anyway, so you test it, it worked, great, and then you add printer profile. Here is where now, because I actually set something up with I was in Sandbox trying to figure this out. So now you can select one of the Alma printer queues that is attached to this API. And that was the API for Bellingham. So that print daemon 2 circ printer that I created is listed. And then if you want to test without wasting paper, you can always do print to PDF first. I can set it. It will pull any local physical printer connected to the computer that you're going to install this on. So this is where you may have to get permission from your IT, depending on what kind of local permissions you have to download software. So if you know that the computer that is going to be on and running most of the time is your, checkout computer, you'd want to download the daemon extension on that computer and attach it to a printer that is attached to that computer. The person at that computer doesn't have to operate it, However, it has to be on and the software has to be running in order for whatever you send to that printer daemon to print. So you might want to put it back in tech services. Maybe, ILL coordinator needs it. Your circ person who's doing pick list. But anyway, so that's a decision you'll have to kind of sort out for yourself. You change your paper size, your orientation if need be, if it's only black and white, if you need to create like top borders, we'll just do standard, and then hit OK. So now you can see we can say save and continue printing. We can add another. If you click this checkbox, you can edit or remove the printer profile. We're just going to save and continue printing. So it is now pulling documents that were sent to that printout queue, which shouldn't be any of them because I literally just created it this morning. Oh, good, Tracy. Hopefully we can set this up for you, Tracy. So yeah, so if you are actually on a computer that actually does circ things and needs to print circ things, it might actually pull documents. But that's not going to work here. Okay, so now you have to go back into Alma, and we had already set up that, but up here in your location, you can choose which printer you are going to print to. So print daemon to circ printer, which I can't set up because I'm not connected to that circ printer, but I gave it that name, Tracy, so you could set it up to that one and not have to create a whole new one. And then to test it, all you
got me on
I
this
say
one.
all you have to do.
So
you
wanna
just
print to the same page on the same page.
Yeah, same page on same page. So
all you have to do is choose something that you want to reprint. So the, like, what is it? Resend printouts.
hello.
And so you can say printer owner. We set that up under library. Printer name. You go to print daemon, and then you can choose which printout you're doing. You can say just print, just mail, and then you just say resend. And if it is set to, if your configuration of the daemon was sent to like a minute, it will take as long as a minute for the data to pull on that cycle, basically. And then however long your printer takes to print, which we all know is a black hole of calculation. And hopefully voila. But since I'm not physically at any of your locations, I can't actually test it. So that is why I am hoping, now that we've kind of walked through this and I have some of it already set up for Tracy, that she might be able to actually set this up and test it in real time. But if someone else would like to take a crack at it, happy to have a volunteer. Here is the full directions, but like it doesn't talk about creating the printer as a printout queue at the top. It just says, follow it in here first. And so I just kind of changed the orders of things. So yeah, so one of the reasons that it could be really good to have this installed is that as our universities, our colleges are all dealing with enhanced security, if you have been using a printer that sends to an email that then is, like auto printing from that email inbox, the new security settings may not allow for that. Even though Bellingham added all of the correct host names and everything else for those Alma emails to go through to their print email, it's just still going to junk no matter what we configure. And it requires that the university set up that extra email. And we all know how much IT loves doing that. So this allows you to bypass that security thing and then and be able to basically set up a print queue. So if you wanted one for Circ, you could have print daemon Circ, and then you could also have a print daemon tech services and not have to be going through those emails. Amy, I'll what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look and see if I can like create developer network logins so that we're not sharing them. But yeah, if you need access to the developer network, please let me know. Amy, I'll write you down right now since you're mentioning it, if anyone else wants to mention it, and then I'll have you on the top of my list. So, because there is, some necessity of access there. So, anyway, I'm sure there's lots of questions because I couldn't even truly demo this. But would anyone like to try and set it up today? Or do we just want to explore and on our own and maybe come back with questions? I rearranged my office too. Oh, new background for meetings. Doing a quilting project because when I'm sad, I quilt so that I can get some dopamine.
But now we can't see Orlando Bloom.
Yeah, he's right there.
Oh, okay. Sorry. It was
do I need to?
on my
I'll retilt.
screen.
There he is. Before he went a little crazy and married Katy Perry. So yeah, that is what I had for today. And I'd be happy to work with anyone individually if you want to set this up. Of course, you can always schedule a one-on-one with me through my Calendly, Librarian Chill, and yeah, because we've got about a month, 4 weeks, 3 weeks, 3 work weeks until Eluna, and I am just going through every single PeopleSoft Canvas training that the state created 4 years ago that probably isn't even still relevant, but at least then I can maybe use their jargon against them to get the information that I need to help y'all with your patron loads. So yeah, if you want to schedule a one-on-one and work with me with anything, then I'm pretty open. Yeah, because my plan is to just learn all the things and then go to the state and say, hey, I've gone through all these trainings that an institution IT person should have gone through. Give me access to the things that they have access to so I can help the libraries. And then if you guys want me to work with your IT departments, hopefully there's like a slightly more subject expert than, you know, I'm sure that they're pretty bogged down with student finance and activities and registration and all the other, queries that they're having to write and figure out and keep updated and everything else. So if we can have a library expert and I can, get the state to acknowledge my role as that go-between, I think we'd be in a good spot. So, okay. Well,
Cal State is like their whole system is also in some ways similar to ours in that all the libraries are on Alma Primo and the Cal State universities are using PeopleSoft.
oh, interesting.
So they might have some stuff on their wikis.
And maybe we
Like
low
that might
key
be
stalk some of them at Eluna and make friends.
Yeah, and one of the folks in Cal State, Marcus, I think his name is, he got his start out of library school or in library school at Seattle Central.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
That's cool.
he came up to me at an Eluna and
Cute.
let me know that.
So they are PeopleSoft institution. I think I have a few connections at Cal State, probably with either OER or e-resources librarians, but yeah, it just feels like a significant gap in where the state has put effort. So might as well jump into the gap because their people will be on contract all summer. So I got nothing but time to bug them. All right. Oh yeah. Was that a like go for it high five?
Sorry, no, that was me trying to find the laugh reaction, only I was using touchscreen and my fingers were too big for the
Oh man, I tried to like do some editing of something on my iPad last night and the new like settings made the keyboard like 2 inches wide. And I'm like, yo, I'm on an iPad, not a phone. Like, give me the full width. It was terrible. I couldn't type anything correctly. So, okay, I'm gonna stop recording. Then